I could call this a plant haul because technically I have hauled a plant, but it is just the one. So this won't be a very long video, unless I end up rambling, which I probably will. This is a plant I've wanted. Right, so they became really big when I just got into plants. But they are a plant that has not made it to the mainstream. So you can't buy them in garden centre. Well, I got mine in a garden centre, but it's a specialist one. But you can't buy them in like a normal garden centre. They're still... I have no idea how much they used to be. They used to be expensive though. They're not prohibitively expensive now, but they are more than I would pay for a full plant. I do have a full plant. I will explain. So in the garden centre that I go to, they have this plant for £125. Now that is not that expensive compared to other rare plants. This isn't rare anymore. I think it used to be, no it isn't. It's also not natural, I'm guessing. I think it's been man-made. This sounds really cryptic. So they used to be, I can remember when they were like, when they first got them into the garden centre, I think they were like 300 quid. Now they're 125 for like a plant this big. But then they started selling baby ones. Now I'm not going to spend £125 on a plant. Not because I don't, it's not that I think that it's too expensive. I don't think it's overpriced. And I have absolutely no problem with other people doing it. And I understand. I just can't. And I think I'm just tight. I think that is, well, what it is. It's just that I'm tight. And I love... So my favourite plant is a marble queen pothos. I love it so much and I love everything about it. I love the way it looks, I love the way it grows, I love how easy it is to take care of, I just love it. And it cost me like £5. So I'm not spending any more. I saw a Pricier Verde, is that what they're called? For £285 in this same garden centre. And I was like, oh my god, that is so gorgeous, so gorgeous. And I realised it's exactly the same as the Pothos Marble Queen, just with bigger, different shaped leaves. So I was like, don't buy that, just go home and look at your Marble Queen. And she is beautiful and I love her. Anyway, the plant I got was a Philodendron Florida Ghost for the princely sum of £16.99. Now, if she wasn't easy to come by, they posted on their Instagram 2 weeks ago that they had them in. And so we went. So they posted on the Thursday when they got delivery. We went Sunday and of course they'd all gone. There was not a sign. There was another girl in there looking for one though, and her boyfriend, who she wanted to slap, and by the end I wanted to slap him too, even though I'd never met him, because he kept going, what about this one? Like, you know, and you can tell somebody was like, no, we came for the Florida Ghost and that's what I wanted. He was like, this one's nice, and you can see she was like, and bless him, he was obviously trying to help, but it wasn't, no, she came for the Florida Ghost and there wasn't one. She was pissed off. I was a bit, but I also, one I'd come because they still had the bigger ones for 125, and so I thought, if I just like misread it, because it was on stories, and I'm like, did I see what I wanted to see? Plus also, I'm pretty sure somebody would just gone and bought them all. So yeah, but then we went back. But then they posted again the following Thursday, and my boyfriend messaged me and said that he'd reserved me one. So yeah, we went to get one. I hate doing stuff like that. It's the easiest way. So when I got my Thai constellation, do you remember when this was like before the pandemic in the January, and my Thai constellation was £90? Now they're like 200. People tell me that I'm lying. On my website they're like, you're lying about the price, but I'm not, I swear. It was just this weird little bubble. It's a weird noise. Anyway, pre-pandemic when they started to come down in price, that was when Costa Farms was like, we've got the Thai! And everyone now is like, you were lying. I don't think they were. I think they just were like, we had it and now demand's gone up again. We're not releasing that yet. So anyway, here she is. This, you might be like, that's not a Florida Ghost, the leaves aren't that shape. No, they're not, but this is because it's just a baby one. It has got lots of leaves though. And if you have absolutely no idea what I'm talking about, what this is, it's the same as a Florida Green, if that's any help. They've got big, I'll put a picture of it on the screen, because I've got a Florida Green that grows like a freaking weed. So that's what the leaves will get like, sort of quite a dragony shape. But the new leaves, this is the newest leaf, come in bright white. And then over time, I don't actually have a green one on here. Oh, there is a green one at the bottom. they fade down to green, and then in between there's all these kind of stripy type numbers. I'm hoping it's as easy to grow as my Florida Green. I think Florida Green are a really good plant for if you think you're good at taking care of plants, but you realise that you're actually not. If you don't look after it, it won't grow. But if you do the bare minimum, it will. Like mine got really, really leggy because I kept putting it places. It always falls over as well. The internodal spacing is about that big. And I kept moving it around. But then I kept moving it back because it was still growing. And you know when you're like, well, there's other plants that need the light more. And you're fine. Look how dark green your leaves are. You don't need that much light. It's currently in my south-facing... I don't know where I got to. The Amazon man came. And I thought maybe he's just going to leave the parcel because they normally do. And he knocked. So I ran down because I'm not rude. And he just knocked and went. So he's rude. Anyway. Has he come back? Did he hear me? I'm sorry. Anyway. I'm hoping this is going to be as easy to take care of. I'm just gonna give her like the bare minimum and she's going to be good. She's not too much of a baby. Often they're like a tiny baby in like a tiny pot and they dry out like every day and it's so stressful looking after them. But this seems to be like a big pot for the size of the plant. So what I'll probably do is bottom water for a bit. Right, this is what I like to do. I like to grow a root system. So I bottom water, just put a little bit of water in the bottom so the roots grow down and they grow longer and they grow strong. And then when it comes to repotting, I repot in the same size pot, but generally I get the same soil as well. So literally I'll just tip it out of this pot. I don't know why I'm obsessed with just because, right, I need a new iPad. My iPad is it's very old. It's still got a button. And this is the first generation Apple Pencil. And I've been like to-ing and fro-ing between, do I need another Apple Pencil? Do I need it enough? And I think I've been trying to use it more. But if this is what I'm using it for, I think we can all kind of agree I don't need a new one. I wonder if the old one would work on a new iPad. I have no idea. Anyway, probably not. Right, so yeah, what we do is we take the soil off, take out the pot, take all the soil off, and just rearrange the roots so they go more in a round fashion. Just around the top half, so there's no roots in the bottom half of the plant. And then do the same thing again, just bottom water, and then the roots grow down. And then you end up with a nice root system. The downside, I have discovered, I don't know if this is actually, if this is just what I think I've observed, because it's difficult, unless you're doing an actual study and comparing two, it's hard to know. I think it makes the actual plant grow slower. I think they have a little bit of the Monstera trait where they definitely prioritise a good root system over leaves. But so do I, because the better the root system is, the more chance when it has thrips and it's fucked and you really can't be asked to deal with it, you can just chop the leaves off and it'll grow again. That is, you need to sort of work out where your strengths are. Mine is definitely bringing plants back from the dead rather than keeping them looking good in the first place. Anyway, that is a tour of my Florida Ghost. It's very small and white, but oh, so pretty. It's just, I love how pretty it is. I also love Florida Beauty, but I've never seen one in the shops here. I'm not that bothered about buying plants online. I like the rush of being in the shop and seeing a plant. I used to like it before. This seems really weird. This seems really mean, but I think the garden centre that I got this from, they also seem to get really into houseplants. I don't know if they hired somebody that really knew what they were doing. They'd always had a good selection, but they were always mislabeled, and you could get some, like, they used to just get in what appeared to be like a job lot of random plants. So that's how I got my big overgrown, what the hell was that? Nothing. My golden dragon, and I used to have a great big silver sword that I chopped up into a million pieces. That was to learn wet stick propagation, and I couldn't do it. I think that was back when we were all learning how to do it together and people were like putting wet sticks on soil. And I'm not saying that doesn't work, it does, but not if you're the kind of plant person I am. Wet sticks for me, wrap them in sphagnum, put them in a bag, plastic bag, and they grow much quicker, and you don't need to remember to water them, which is the bit that I always used to fail about. That I always used to like. That was my downfall. Oh, my Apple Pencil. Right, I've waffled long enough about this beautiful white plant, so thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next week.